Oh my god, dude. What is with this game? Okay, so we now return to another episode of the comedy show that is Fire Emblem Heroes. They just tweeted, well, not just tweeted out, but 3 hours ago, or 5 hours ago, they tweeted out this little glitch that apparently occurred in Aether raids today. So remember how they were raising the Aether cap limit from 250 to 400? So they went ahead and did that. And all sorts of problems ensued as a result of that. So we can go ahead and quickly take a look at these tweets here. So the first tweet that they posted, we have confirmed an issue in which some players do not see their Aether restored over 250 on Aether raids. We also confirmed cases in which the Aether shown on screen goes back to 250 after appearing higher beforehand. We're currently investigating the cause of this. Now, no investigation needs to be done to say they done goofed, right? Like, this is entirely their fault. Okay, so here is the update that they tweeted. Players may be able to circumvent the issue by battling or auto-dispatching on Aether raids. Please try doing so if you haven't yet. And note, even after the correct cap is reflected, Aether already lost will not be restored. Big RIP, especially for people trying to get to rank 1. We will update you as we get new information. Now, the reason why this sucks, like, this is probably not going to affect most of the player base. Like, we have... Hold on. I want to do some quick numbers real quick. So, we have a baseline estimate that there's 200,000 players who play Fire Emblem Heroes, right? And about 1,000 players actually take the game seriously. Actually, we did that wrong. So, it would be 1,000 over 200,000. And 0.005% of the player base basically will be affected by this and like any competitive changes that occur into the game. I love that this is the percent of the player base they market the game to, by the way. Okay, so regardless, most players, like I said, are not going to be affected by this. However, it's a problem because actually the ideal strategy was to just not play on day one. So you avoid raising your lift and you can, like, prolong the amount of time it takes for more people to fight your defense and stronger people to fight your defense. Because there is some kind of matchmaking that goes on in AR where the higher your lift, the more likely you are to face off against people with higher lift. And vice versa, the lower your lift, the more likely you are to fight people with lower lift. So the ideal strat, since they raised the Aether cap, would have been to not play on day one and just wait a little bit. And you just keep on recovering Aether, and you're less likely to have strong people fight your defense and more likely to fight weaker defenses when you do offense. So if people were trying to, like, big brain strat this, then they just completely backfired, which sucks. So we have, of course, community reactions on the subreddit that we can take a look at, and also this, too. So it's funny that this happened before as well. A very similar thing, too. So this was 2 years ago, right? This was June 22nd, 2022, when the very first Chaos season ever happened for Aether raids. So they confirmed an issue that during Chaos season that began in 621, some players experienced an issue where their tier is not being carried over from the previous seasons, but is being set to level 1 as instead. And the reason why this was bad is because some players are being put at a disadvantage in their first defense battle of the season, having been given incorrect teams and structures, because if you're not max level, then you're not able to deploy as many units on a defense team. So this happened to a lot of people in Chaos season where their first defense was like... it was like a makeshift defense that had less units on it, and it sucked. So the fix for this, by the way, was also to simply do a single fight in Aether raids to reset your rank. So this has to be like some kind of issue in the game's code, particularly concerning Aether raids, where if they ever make a big change like Chaos season or this Aether lift change that they made here, something has to happen first. Like, you have to actually play a fight to reset everything on your end before everything actually starts to work correctly. I don't know why that is. Maybe they should look into that in particular if they're trying to fix this issue. Okay, so let's see what people have to say on the subreddit. Alright, so they changed the number visually but didn't do anything else. Yeah, that is the most insist thing I have ever heard. Alright, it's definitely bugged. Yep. came to the sub to see if anyone else was affected. For further context, I didn't click on AR yesterday, but that's not, that has nothing to do with it. You actually have to physically go in and do a fight for it to start working properly. You can't just collect rewards and things like that. Alright, still at 250. Shouldn't it be at 320 or something? Yeah, it should be, if everything was working correctly, but it's not. So, RIP. Yeah, and, oh, Oblivion posted, if I lose my perfect Vault of Heaven record over this, I'm gonna be livid. Yeah, this is exactly my point. Remember earlier how I said only, like, 0.005% of the player base are gonna be affected? But for that 0.005%, those are the money spenders, and something like this is really unacceptable, because if you're trying to get rank 1 or maintain Vault even, this is really gonna suck. So, I can understand completely why people would be very mad about this. Alright, for people suggesting that this is a bug, if you didn't collect rewards or interact with AR yesterday, I collected my rewards and did a little farming in the Aether Resort, and I'm still stuck at 250 lift. Yeah, so it's a good thing. I actually did my fight yesterday, so I'm not going to be affected by this, but I was very close to not doing a fight, because like I mentioned earlier, the strat would be to have not played and just, like, coast for the first day and let your Aether restore beyond 250, and you're going to be matched up against weaker people, pretty much. So, yeah, I mean, what can I say? There's not really anything to say. Someone mentioned something about compensation as well. I remember seeing a post about that. Where is that one? Let's see if we can find it. Okay, right here. So, oh my god, I got this too. Well, that sucks, but at least I probably wasn't surviving Vault this season anyway. Guess it's time to send more feedback about changes made to their competitive modes. Okay, that wasn't the one. Somebody said something about compensation, but yeah, right here. Compensation orbs when. My only point about the compensation is that they never do it. Typically, gachas, when something bad happens in a competitive mode in a gacha game, they will always issue compensation of some kind. It doesn't have to be, like, huge compensation. Maybe it'll be, like, an orb or two, or, like, enough to do one summon, not even a multi. But in Fae, they never do that. And the biggest example would be the arena glitch, which, like, a lot of people were able to just cheat their way into maintaining the crowns by abusing the glitch, and it inconvenienced players that were playing arena the normal way, because having that many people stuffing the actual, like, tier in tier 21 made it harder for you to, like, actually maintain the score needed to stay. So that would have, an event like that happening in other gachas would have resulted in bans to people using the glitch, and then a massive compensation to everybody else. Unfortunately, that's not how Fade does things, as we've seen. So yeah, there you guys go. Let me know if you were affected by this. Unfortunately, that's a big RIP if you were, because missing a day in AR is, like, just enough to be the difference between getting kicked out of the vault or maintaining the vault. So yeah, that's going to wrap us up for this one, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed the coverage on this. And you bad boys, Insys, how dare you mess with people in the Vault of Heaven.